Hi students, welcome back to our English class. Let's watch the video of Vanka.
Vanka. 9-year-old Vanka, who had been apprenticed 3 months ago to Alukin, is writing a letter to his grandfather Konstantin Makarich on a Christmas Eve. I'm writing this letter to you. I sent you my Christmas greetings. Vanka has no father, no mummy, but only his grandfather. In his imagination, he sees his grandfather, who was a night watchman on the estate of some gentlefolk called Shivaray. In the night, he walked round and round, sounding his rattle. After him, with drooping heads, went old Kashtanka, another dog called Eel. Grandpa was probably standing at the gate, fooling with the servants. The previous day, the master took him and dragged him out into the yard and beat him with a stirrup strap because by mistake he went to sleep while rocking their baby. One day, as he began to gut the herring from the tail, she picked up the herring and rubbed his face with the head. The other apprentices made fun of them and was sent to the tavern for vodka. And he was made to steal the master's cucumber. He was brutally punished and not even given proper food. So he requested his grandfather to take him home. He is ready to give everything for his grandfather. Moscow town abounds in houses and honors. The boys are never seen with stars at Christmas, but they are on the streets selling fish.
So students, we discussed up till this. Now we discuss the 9th paragraph. Dear Granddad, when they have a Christmas tree at the big house, take a glided nut for me and put it away in the green chest. Ask Miss Olga Ignatievna, tell her it's for Vanka. Vanka requested his granddad that when they have a Christmas tree at the big house, take a fine nut for him and put it away in the green chest. Then ask Miss Olga Ignatievna and tell her it is for Vanka. Vanka gave a sharp sigh and once more gazed at the window pane. He remembered his grandfather going to get a Christmas tree for the January and taking his grandson with him. Oh, what happy times those had been! Grandfather would give a chuckle and the frost-bound wood chuckled and Vanka, following their example, chuckled too. Before chopping down the fir tree, grandfather would smoke a pipe and take a long pinch of snuff and laugh at the shivering Vanka. The young fir trees, coated with frost, stood motionless, waiting to see which one of them was to die, and suddenly a hare would come leaping over a snowdrift, swift as an arrow. Grandfather could never help shouting, "Stop it, stop it, stop it, oh you stub-tailed devil!" Vanka sighed. He looked at the window glass. He remembered his grandfather going to get a Christmas tree for his employers. He had taken Vanka with him. How happy Vanka was then. Grandfather would laugh. The frost-covered trees would laugh and Vanka also laughed. Before cutting the tree, grandfather would smoke his pipe, take a long pinch of snuff. He would laugh at the shivering Vanka. The young fir trees, covered with frost, stood without moving. They were waiting to see which one would be cut. Suddenly, a hare would appear. Grandfather would shout, "Stop it, stop it." Next paragraph. Grandfather would drag the tree to the big house and they would start decorating it. Miss Olga Ignatievna, Vanka's favorite, was the busiest of all. While Pelagia, Vanka's mother, was alive and in service at the big house, Olga Ignatievna used to give Vanka sweets and amuse herself by teaching him to read, write, and count to 100, and even to dance the quadrille. But when Pelagia died, the orphaned Vanka was sent down to the back kitchen to his grandfather and from there to Moscow to Alyakin the shoemaker. Grandfather would drag the tree to the big house. They all would decorate it. Miss Olga Ignatievna, Vanka's favorite, was the busiest of all. Pelagia was Vanka's mother. She is dead. When she was working in the big house, Olga used to give Vanka sweets as her pastime. She also taught Vanka to read, write, and count to 100. She even tried to teach him to dance quadrille. When his mother died, Vanka was sent to the back kitchen to his grandmother. From there, he was sent to Moscow to Alyakin. Now, 12th paragraph. "Come to me, dear granddad," continued Vanka. "I beg you, for Christ's sake, take me away from here. Pity me, unhappy orphan. They beat me all the time and I am always hungry and I am so miserable here. I can tell you, I cry all the time. And one day the master hit me over the head with a last and I fell down and thought I would never get up again. I have such a miserable life, worse than a dog's. And I send my love to Alyona, One-Eyed Egger, and the coachman, and don't give my concertina to anyone. I remind you, your grandson Ivan Shukov. Dear granddad, do come." Vanka continued writing. He requested his granddad to take him from here as they beat him and he was hungry and miserable. He sent his love to Alyona, One-Eyed Egger, and the coachman. He told him not to give his concertina to anyone. He promised that he remained as his grandson Ivan Shukov and again requested to do come. Vanka folded the sheet of paper in four and put it into an envelope, which he had bought the day before for a kopeck. Then he paused to think, dipped his pen into the ink pot and wrote, "To grandfather in the village," scratched his head, thought again, then added, "To Konstantin Makarich." He folded the sheet and put it into an envelope. He wrote the address, "To grandfather in the village." After some thought, he added, "To Konstantin Makarich." Pleased that no one had prevented him from writing, he put on his cap and ran out into the street without putting his coat on over his shirt. The men at the butcher's told him when he asked them the day before that letters are put into letter boxes and from these boxes sent all over the world on mail coaches with 3 horses and drunken drivers and jingling bells. Vanka ran as far as the nearest letter box and dropped his precious letter into the slit. That is, he was happy that nobody saw him writing. He put his cap and ran out into the street. He did not wear his coat. The men at the butcher's had told him that letters are put into letter boxes. Then they are sent all over the world in mail coaches with 3 horses and drunken drivers and jingling bells. Vanka dropped his letter in that letter box. An hour later, lulled by rosy hopes, he was fast asleep. He dreamed of a stove. On the stove ledge sat his grandfather, his bare feet dangling, reading the letter to the cooks. Eel was walking backwards and forwards in the front of the stove, wagging his tail. So, an hour later, he fell asleep. He dreamed of a stove. His father was sitting on the stove ledge with his bare feet dangling. He was reading the letter to the cooks. Eel was walking backwards and forwards, wagging his tail. Let's watch the rest of the video.
Vanka happily remembers his childhood in the company of his grandfather and how they set out to get Christmas tree for the gentry. Grandfather decorates a Christmas tree he had cut down. Vanka's mother, Pelageya, was in service at the big house Olga Ignatievna. Vanka's favorite taught him to read, write, and count to 100. On his mother's death, he was sent down to his grandfather and from there to the shoemaker's. After writing the letter, Vanka put it into an envelope. He wrote to his grandfather in the village on the envelope and added to Konstantin Makarich. Vanka, feeling happy that no one had prevented him from writing the letter, runs to the nearest letter box and drops the letter in the slit. After 1 hour, Vanka slept with rosy hopes. He dreamt of a stone, his grandfather sitting on the stove ledge, reading the letter to the cooks, and the dog eel walking backwards and forwards in front of the stove, wagging its tail.
So students, that ends the story. Read the textbook well. If you have any doubt, ask me. Thank you.